Welcome into the Beachside Blitz, where we surf the wave of sports on Cape May Radio, 101.5 FM, the Center for Community Arts. I am your host, Patricia Caputo, and let's get started today with our first segment of Seaside Sit-Downs. Joining me today is Jason Ruffenach and Austin Schwartz with the Cape May Kraken. So we're going to talk a little bit about the local hockey league that they have created themselves over the last few years. So let's just thank you first for both of you for coming and for joining me today and speaking with me.
Of course. Welcome. Happy to be here.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
Thank you all once again for joining me. So let's just get started talking about this league. And first, let's start off with the motivation behind creating the Cape May Kraken.
So, we started in 2022. The motivation behind it was to get local kids to play on the same team. We had kids playing all over the place, different organizations. There was nothing for Cape May County kids. So that was our motivation going, and from there it just grew.
And let's talk about you, Austin, because last year when I had you on the show, Jason, you talked about how Austin kind of just said, hey, do y'all have any opportunities? Do you have any help? I want to jump in. So talk about your moment when you said, I want to be a part of what they are creating here.
Yeah, it was 2022, right? Still played beer league hockey and wanted to get more involved into the coaching aspect of things. I wanted to see the game grow from when I was in high school and not have it leave this area because we live in a short town. Ice hockey is probably the last thing you think of when you think of Cape May, but we're making our mark. We're making a name for ourselves down here, and like Jason said, we just continue to grow.
And let's go further into depth about that, of how are you helping the youth in the Cape May County area through something you both are very passionate about, through hockey?
So, we're giving them a place to go, right? It's not local, but we're traveling with these kids. We're getting them out of their box, right? We're getting them sometimes out of the county in order for them to play together on the same team. We're giving them more than just sitting around playing video games. We're giving them discipline. We're giving them instruction for hockey, and they're learning work ethic through the whole process too.
And let's talk about the Juniors League. We were talking about it a little bit before we officially got on the show, but let's talk about that Juniors League that you all just started and now will be traveling with this weekend.
Yeah, so starting this weekend, we have a junior level team, which is to qualify for juniors, you're 16 years old to 20 years old. And these are kids they're trying to go into college, Division I, D3, NCAA, or even into professional leagues. So we created this so our youth kids have a place to go. So as my own kids get older and as our players get older, we need something to progress the kids. So this is, it's new territory for us. I think it's going to be fun, and we're going to compete this weekend.
And Austin, how will that be for you, being able to be a part of a juniors league with these 16 to 20-year-old kids?
It's insane to see because it's something that I didn't really have growing up. And to see it being in Cape May County with the Kraken logo at the forefront of everything, it's awesome to give these kids a chance to go and compete and to further their hockey career. And if they want to take it more as a profession, we give them the opportunity to go and almost like a showcase for them to get into these other teams that we're looking at.
And I'll flash back with you that what would have been like for you if you did have this opportunity to be able to continue your hockey career in Cape May? How do you think it will help them if you had that opportunity, so to speak?
I would have liked to have it. Skill-wise, I don't think I was there. But it would have been cool to have as an option, just for me, to give me something to look forward to, because the closest thing for me would have been going to Stockton or going to a big-time college to go and try and compete with some of these guys. And I kind of knew, I saw the writing on the wall, and I was like, all right, maybe I should just step into coaching a little bit more.
Okay, well, let's talk about that college aspect. Now that you have this junior career, do you think that there will be a time where maybe you're having to talk to college coaches and things of helping them get recruited, or is this more just a platform for them to be able to showcase their talents to coaches and maybe send through videos and things of that nature?
So one thing the Cape May Kraken has done is, because we're not a Tier 2 youth organization, we're kind of an ancillary organization and something extra for all these kids. These parents and these players have been coming back to us as coaches and the organization asking for advice constantly. So, should I go play for this club? Should I go play for this club? So absolutely. And it's opened up opportunities already in the juniors leagues for us to talk to coaches and talk to those organizations and kind of give our thoughts on players. So yes, absolutely. It's already happening. Not at the college level yet, but I'm sure that's next, and we're excited for it.
And let's backtrack a little bit to when you're first starting this league. I want to talk about the logo, because the logo is very unique and very interesting. Jason, you talked to me a little bit about it last year. So for those who don't know or who didn't get to hear the interview last year, explain to me how you came up with the Cape May Kraken logo specifically.
I didn't. It's simple as that, right? So my brother, Cody Ruffenach, is a graphic art designer. And he was fresh out of school, and kind of gave him the idea, and he has done a lot of different things for me over time, and that was the first logo that he sent to me that I didn't change whatsoever. The colors look good. He incorporated the Cape May Lighthouse well with the Kraken tentacle wrapped around it. I mean, as soon as I saw it, I said, that's it. I mean, that really, in my opinion, that logo brought the club to life. We went our first marketing campaign when we released our Facebook page and Instagram page. All we did was release the logo, and that alone prompted Austin to reach out to us via Instagram and ask to help coach.
Now that he mentioned you, I'll ask, tell us a little bit about your hockey career growing up as a hockey player.
Growing up in Cape May, didn't really touch the ice till I was a freshman in high school. We had street hockey, we had roller hockey in the area, and that was kind of like our thing. You had ice hockey in Atlantic City, but that was kind of like a faraway dream. Lower Cape May, playing for the high school, kind of gave me the opportunity to get on the ice, and from then on, I never looked back. It was ice hockey through and through, and still play to this day when I can, 10 o'clock at night on a Tuesday at beer league. But it just keeps me happy, it keeps me healthy, and I plan to continue to coach and play till I can't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the cool things I want to mention that happened this past week in a tournament is Coach Austin, his high school coach, Teddy Strickland, was there. His Teddy Strickland's son is playing on our 12U team right now, and we invited him on the bench to coach with Coach Austin. So it's kind of like full circle for him, and able to coach alongside his high school coach. And I mean, that's what it's all about, right? It's now like more Cape May locals coming into the program and playing. So
That is really great. So what did that mean for you, getting able to have, like you were saying, that full circle type of moment, Austin?
It was unreal. I mean, talking about Teddy is definitely one of my role models that I looked up to in high school, and I still look up to him now. And to have him on the bench with me, it was such a surreal experience, because it is kind of like a full circle moment. This guy coached me when I was 16 years old, and now later in my life we're coaching together, so it was really cool.
Now let's talk about the travel aspect, kind of how you were saying, Austin, that this isn't right here in Cape May. There's not a rink where you can just go to and everything is easy and you can wrap a bow on it, but instead you all are traveling. In fact, you all were telling me about heading to Boston this week. So talk a little bit about the aspect of traveling and what goes into that.
There's always like this, I don't know, the stigma of hockey travel where it is the best time. It's awesome. I could drive 10 hours to go to a tournament with this team, and I wouldn't mind the travel at all. It's having the team all together in a hotel, but we're all close nearby. It's more than what happens in the rink. They bond outside of the rink, and we see it. We see these kids become lifelong friends just from playing hockey. And just to see that, and that I didn't have it when I was growing up, it's cool to give these kids the opportunity to do so.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so absolutely the travel. I mean, it's a little taxing on everybody. I have two kids that play. My wife and I cart them everywhere for this program. We always joke around saying Austin's our third son, so so we make him come around with us. But I mean, hockey people. It's part of the territory. We all do it. I will say, and I'll kind of put a pitch here, that Cape May County needs a rink, right? We need a home. And if you're listening out there and you're interested in giving a home to an incredible program, please reach out to us.
Okay, I'll put you all on a spot. Where would be your dream rink in Cape May County?
I got it.
I got mine.
Okay.
Growing up, there was always the airport street hockey rink, and to have an ice hockey rink basically in my backyard, it would be, we talked about having a full circle moment, that would be it. You started my hockey career there on street, and for it to end as an ice hockey rink, I think that would be surreal.
Mm-hmm. Are you in agreement?
Yeah, that's the location, in my opinion. It's not just something that is going to bring something locally in the wintertime, which is what we want, right? We want the locals to enjoy the platform and have it, but also just knowing that Cape May County is a tourist area as well. That rink will probably be busier in the summertime than it is in the wintertime, all while providing that platform for the Cape May Kraken to grow even bigger. But yeah, that location, 100% would be my dream location. So if anybody listening has ties to that, we're in, right? We have plans, we have blueprints, let's go.
You told me this last year that you have it all set up, that if someone comes knocking at your door, you're ready. If someone has the funds to be able to build that, you're ready. And you mentioned the winter, and I think that's true with all the tourism, especially as Cape May continues to grow every year. But the winter is one of the hardest parts for the children out here, just simply because there's not that much to do. So Austin, I'll start with you first. If a rink like this would come to Cape May County, how would this help the youth in Cape May?
It gives them a safe place to be. It takes them off the streets and getting into trouble. I mean, we always grew up going to Atlantic City on Friday nights for open skate and Saturday mornings for open hockey. It just gives them more of a platform to give them an outlet other than the normal TV, video games, and just being bored 24/7. Putting your time and effort into something that you'll see the result come back to you. Regardless, if you stay with ice hockey, it just builds you as a better person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would say like an establishment like that wouldn't just be geared towards just ice hockey, right? It's for the community, right? Public skating, like he mentioned that. So we have things in the area. The bowling alley that was just created in Rio Grande, there's a great addition to the community. But how many times can you go bowling and how many times can you watch a movie in a week? So, if you had other things like the ice skating, maybe add figure skating, you can add other sports into that complex as well. I mean, it would just be great for the community.
Mm-hmm. There definitely is large opportunity for that. And as we wait for something like that to happen, let's go back to the aspect of, like we were saying, with the traveling and everything like that. How is it for families who aren't leading the charge like you guys, but their kids are signed up, they're in these programs? How is that balance with having to work and then having to travel as well?
Well, I'll restate what I previously said, and I think hockey people just it comes with the territory, right? It's a different breed. They make it work. Like when I tell somebody I'm going to Boston on Thursday morning, they're like, "Oh, hockey, yep," and then they just know. When we ask these players and parents to come, there's no hesitation. I mean, we see the sign-up list when we put out a new location. This year we traveled to Maryland. We traveled to Hershey. We went down to Delaware. We went to Aston, PA. I mean, we did some traveling this year, and every tournament we did, I think we had more players. Yeah. So, I mean, there's no hesitation. They're juggling it just like everybody else, and it's working.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned that it's growing. It's especially growing every year. So how have you seen it over the last few years, just people and members of this community just grow and buy into the Cape May Kraken, so to speak?
I mean, from the first year we did it, we only had 2 teams. And now we're up to 7 tournament teams.
And so we're at, I believe it's 7 teams. So you got 2 middle school, a high school team, a 12U, 14U, 16U, and now our juniors team. So 7 teams total.
Mm-hmm. So when you're taking these kids and when they're younger, let's say these middle school teams, what are you teaching them right off the bat?
How to hit. I mean, listen, for us, it's about, I'm a big advocate of just going out and having a good time, right? Our program has been kind of the opposite of a lot of other programs. I'm not looking for the AAA player, the player that has all the natural talent. I'll take anybody, and I want them to be accepted, right? So what we kind of drive home is that they all have to learn to work together as a team, no matter what their skill level is. And we see it time and time again that they just fight together, they become a family. And then now that we're adding the addition to traveling more, I mean, like Austin said, they were in the hotels together, they're running around the hallways playing knee hockey, terrorizing the hotel.
Yeah.
And that's where the bond comes. And then it doesn't matter the skill level. They learn through those programs and that stuff that now when we're on the ice, we're a family, we're going to work together. And that's kind of, it's not so much of us saying, here's what we need to teach you. It's the opportunity we're providing and the atmosphere that we're providing.
So take me back to when they first start the program, right? And they're young. They don't all know each other because they all come from different places. So is it just clicking over time like you were talking about in the hotels, or is there this little bit of maybe awkwardness at first, or is it just this common love for hockey?
You can definitely see, like, when you first bring a group of players together, it's like a feeling out session. Like, you're like, all right, I might click with this guy. This guy's a little bit better than I am. But towards the end of it, I mean, they're playing for us, but then they're following each other to other year-round travel teams. And that's where I think you build the chemistry and you build the bond with these other players that ultimately become your teammates for the next 10 years, because you're either going to be playing with them or against them. And
then when they get older, what's that like? What is coaching the older group where now you have primed them, now they can hit maybe? So what is that like? You both laugh, so I got to hear each of y'all's stories, what it's like coaching the older group.
It's the best thing in my life currently is coaching this 16U tournament team. I've seen these kids since they were 14U, and to see them grow and to see them become the person that they are becoming, I mean, I don't think I've ever laughed harder than when I was in a locker room with these kids. The jokes, everything. Everyone is just making fun of each other, but in such a good way that it just continuously just builds the chemistry. And the group that we have now is very special.
Yeah, and I guess like I'll go back to what you were saying when like a new kid comes into the program. Like there are new kids coming into the older group sometimes. And one of the cool things that we experienced like mid-game this last weekend was there was a player on the other team, and they're talking about him, and they're like, we should get him to join. So they were calling him over to our bench in the middle of a game. They're like, hey, sign up for our team. Like, so it was cool. It's like, and they're inviting, right? They all rag on each other, but they all lift each other up when they need it.
And what does that mean for you all to have a moment like that where these players are saying, let's recruit kids ourselves, let's bring kids here? What is that like, showing that all your hard work is essentially paying off?
Yeah, I mean, I left this weekend, again, at a tournament in Aston where we spent 15 plus hours at the rink on a Saturday and Sunday, and we were up at 6 a.m. and didn't leave until 11 p.m. And it felt like we got hit by a truck. But watching all that, and then kind of like Monday morning, waking up and realizing like how cool that was to see all that stuff. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, they're building the program for us at this point. We started it, but those kids are the ones that are making it.
Mm-hmm. And I keep mentioning the travel just because it is so big right now with the Cape May Kraken. So how is it usually? Is it travel, play a game that day, or is it usually sleep there, maybe be exhausted the next day, but wake up, play, and you're in a game?
A little bit of both. This tournament, for example, was started on Friday. Usually a lot, because it's a closer tournament. I use closer in parentheses because it was still 2 hours away from us. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we'll travel the morning. We'll give like 3 to 4 hours just to kind of adjust. And then right at that 5 o'clock, it's boom, boom, boom. We had 3 games till 8:50 at night. Mm-hmm. And just to continuously grind from that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that with the program itself, right, there's different aspects of it. We have the tournament program, which is what Austin just explained. And then we have the middle school and high school program. So the middle school spring program, like we have 2 teams there. They get in an 8 to 10 game season plus playoffs if they make it. So, and that's weekly, right? They might have Saturday and Sunday games it's usually up in Voorhees. And then for high school, same thing, but that's weeknights. So these kids are going to school, they get done school at 3:00, and then their game's at 8:00 at night, an hour and a half away. So they're playing an 8:00 game, hour and a half away. They're not getting home until 11:30, 12:00 sometimes. So yeah, they're putting in the work, and nobody complains. They just do it.
Now, when you're traveling, it seems so different because I grew up about an hour and a half from here, and we had hockey very central and local, right? The games weren't an hour and a half away. It was 20 minutes max, and a lot of them would complain even at that sometimes. So is there this aspect of fatigue that sometimes you're trying to avoid with these long bus rides, or have you not seen that with this group?
I mean, there's always going to be fatigue, especially when you get into these tournaments, because it's pretty jam-packed. We got there on Friday, 3 games from 12U to 16U up until 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night. You go back to your hotel, and it's a quick turnaround. We're starting at 6:30, 7 a.m. in the morning and having 3 games, and then a little bit of a break, and then, boom, you have 3 games in the afternoon going till 10 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, of course there's going to be fatigue, but I mean, with enough caffeine, you can get through it.
Promoting caffeine, I love it. With that being said, let's just talk about, first, actually, I want to talk about the social media, because y'all showed me a video before. Y'all keep pretty active on the social media. So let's just say, how has that helped build the program over the last few years?
I'll turn that over to you because you are the brains of that one.
So, I mean, honestly, I'm not the brains of that, right? Like, I tried to get her to come, but Anne-Marie, my wife Anne-Marie, took over the social media a couple of years ago, and that's when we saw it just like explode, right? We're doing everything. We're trying to break out of the box a little bit. This past weekend, we were interviewing players, in the middle of games, interviewing coaches in the middle of games. So go on our Instagram page, you'll see a lot of that. We bought a little mini mic that we were traveling around with. That has really changed it in the sense of we're watching all the players in other organizations starting to follow us, right? And that's what that's part of that game, that when those kids are inviting other players to play for us, that's what's happening. They're starting to follow us, and then they want to be a part of it. I mean, the bottom line is, if you look at our social media, we're having fun, right? We're not the most serious group of people, but you know what? That's what it's all about. It's just going out and having a good time.
And I think that's kind of what draws players in. And I mean, example of me growing up, I'm sure Jason can agree on this. You grew up with the hard-nosed coach that is really only worried about what the score sheet says at the end of the game. But here we are, we're giving out hot dog of the game or dog of the game to our best player. And they love it. Like, we're giving the post-game interviews, and we're treating them like the professionals that you see on TV. And I think they're just buying in, and you're seeing other kids be like, all right, well, I want to do that too.
Now tell me more about the other kids. Is it after the season, where is it a sign-up process where it's the whole year, or is there a part where they can just jump in kind of midway through the season?
So it depends on the program, right? The middle school and high school program in the spring, we essentially release like January, February is when we do our registration for that. So yes, you have to sign up in January, February. Every year I sit here and I tell Austin, I tell my wife, I said, we're not going to get enough. We're not going to get enough kids.
Every year.
And and this year it was like record time. We almost ended up with 3 middle school teams, and I was completely blown away by it. And we had a wait list. I could have probably made a 3rd team. We just didn't have enough help. We didn't have enough coaching. So we're at the point now where we need to grow and have more coaching. So the tournament team, we do it completely different than everybody else. Everybody else runs their tournament team for spring and summer only. We do it all year because we don't want them to just be a spring and summer team. We want them to be a family, and we want them to be a real team when they go to compete. So we do it. Our signups are coming up in August. So August, you'll see the registration come out, and then September through August is when we run our program.
And we'll talk more about the program in a minute, but I want to go back to your wife, because she is not just somebody who's taking over the social media because she feels like it. She has background in this. So talk a little bit about her background. If I'm not mistaken, she was a photographer or is a photographer. So talk about that and just how she was able to truthfully take over this role and make the social media as good as it is now.
Yeah, so she graduated Penn State with a marketing degree, and I could say that like in the marketing world, probably everything that's done today is probably nothing that she learned in Penn State. But she has taken essentially the role there. The picture stuff has been. I mean, that's her thing. She's love cake photography was her business, and she grew rapidly with that here. And then she just jumped on the bench one day with her camera and started clicking away. Started doing some sports photography, and she got a real knack for it. She started. She researches it. She does her homework, right? And that's part of it. So when these kids are getting these photos, we're not charging them. It's part of the program, right? They're getting these photos where when you go to a lot of these tournaments, they're charging hundreds of dollars for photos. So it's just an added bonus to our program. And then with the social media, I mean, she's just on top of it. I mean, there's nothing more that I can say other than she's on top of it. So it's she's following every trend that she can find, but she's also, like I said, exploring things outside the box, and the input between us too. We always just kind of have a good banter and joke around with things, and sometimes we joke around with things and we're like, wait, let's really try that.
It actually might work.
Yeah.
And it seems to have worked, because just going back to the logo where Austin, you jumped in and said, I want to coach. You mentioned that there's not a whole lot of coaches right now, or that you're looking for more coaches. So how do you plan to go about that and finding more people who are invested in hockey and want to be invested in this team to teach the youth?
Well, so I'll talk about that real quick. We did add coaches, right? So it started off with myself, Andre Caswendra, and then Austin messaged us. So it was the three of us from the very beginning. Through that, we had a young kid, Bobby Smith. We call him the bobblehead Bobby. He's in that Instagram video we showed you. His father has been, in our Kraken family since day one, and he's been a long time soccer coach in the area. He's been around sports his whole life. He's great with the kids. So he wanted to get into it. We invited him in the mix, and that's part of it, how it grows, right? Now, outside of this community, I play for a team called the Flyers Warriors, which is an all-veterans team. And I had a fellow teammate ask about our program, and he wanted to get into coaching. And now we have Brian Guerrero, who is now taking the charge and head coach of multiple teams for us. So it's been a great addition. So, I mean, anybody out there that's interested, we're glad to talk to you and to see if you're the right fit. But that's the most important thing, right? You have to be the right fit for us.
Can't take yourself too seriously.
Okay, so credentials is you have to be funny, have to be obviously willing to travel, things of that nature. And just how have you all grown as a family being a part of this? You talked about it a little bit, but how important is that aspect, that if you want to be a part of this, this is more than just a job than something that you do on the side. It's a family aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I always joke about it, but I always tell Jason and Emery, I always say, thanks, Mom and Dad, because I think I am in their family sometimes. And it does help living down the street from them, and I think that's where a lot of the brainstorming activities come from, is on the deck. But it's cool. They welcomed me in. They didn't have to at all. They could have just told me to turn the other way and go elsewhere. But I'm forever grateful for them and the opportunity that they gave me to grow and become the coach that I am today.
And it seems that from the time I was with you last year, this program has already grown. So as we wrap this up, how would you all, both of you, see yourselves and this program growing within the next, let's just give it a 5-year plan?
I'll lead off. The 5-year plan is ice hockey in Cape May County. We have the team, we're ready to go, but like Jason said, we're looking for a home. It's the travel. I mean, if any sports, they're traveling sports family out there, you know what I'm talking about, and sometimes it does wear on you. It wouldn't be too bad to just go 20 minutes down the road and play a game on Friday night.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, right? It's a tomorrow plan. It's not even a 5-year plan. Like, let's get a rink in Cape May County, and anybody listening needs to jump in and call us. We're here, we're ready to go. we're going to continue to grow, whether we have a rink or not. But imagine if we did have one, how much more it could grow and how many more kids we can get locally to jump on the ice and see a program like this.
Well, y'all heard it here first. Rink comes to Cape May. You can thank the Cape May Kraken soon. I'm ready for it. Well, thank you so much, Jason Ruffenach and Austin Schwartz, for joining me today on the segment of the Seaside Sit Downs. I'm ready. Can't wait to follow you all throughout your journey as you continue with the Cape May Kraken. This has been Seaside Sit Downs on the Beachside Blitz. We will be right back after this commercial break. Support for Cape May Radio and the Center for Community Arts comes from Cape Island Woodwork, offering residential and commercial woodworking services while preserving Cape May's historic architecture. More information is available at capeislandwoodwork.com. Support for Cape May Radio, WCFA 101.5 FM, and the Center for Community Arts comes from Flying Fish Studios, offering wholesale, retail, and custom screen printing services located at 130 Park Boulevard, West Cape May, New Jersey. More information is available at flyingfishstudio.com. Welcome back to the Beachside Blitz, where we surf the wave of sports. I'm your host, Patricia Caputo. We just sat down with some coaches of the Cape May Kraken for the first part of the show, as they told us about how they created the team to begin with and what they are expecting within their next 5 years. So with that being said, let's talk about a few more sports. First off, as always, let's start with the question of the week as we get into the second half of the show. The question is, Saquon Barkley rushed for 2,000 yards, more than 2,000 yards this season, leading the Eagles to a Super Bowl while rushing for over 2,000 yards. He did that, and he is the third ever player to lead the NFL in rushing and win a Super Bowl in the same season. So first off, I'll propose a question of who are the other two? And then as the show goes on, I'll give you the one, so at least get one of them. But we'll see. Well, I guess we'll say it will get harder, you can say, as we get to that last one. I think the first one is a little easy, and then we'll get to that second one. So who are the other two, rather, obviously came before Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is the third ever player to lead the NFL in rushing and win a Super Bowl in the same season. Who are the other two players? Obviously, both running backs to do that. I'll let you all think on it. Let's move on to baseball, and let's talk about the Phillies, kind of, with Kyle Schwarber. And not only is he helping the Phillies win, hopefully trying to bring those World Series hopes back, even though the team is a little inconsistent, we got that nice little all-star break. And let's talk about Kyle Schwarber wins for the National League. And not only did he do it in some game-saving play or some fashion, in the swing-off. That is quite popular among fans and now among players as well. I know a few fans felt that it's ruining the game, but how long are you going to play for? You can't play forever. You can't go into extra innings times 10. It's an all-star game. I'm obviously not saying to go and do this in a regular season game, a postseason game, but in an all-star game, have some fun. Now, yeah, they're not the best pitches being thrown at them. They're basic. But Kyle did it 3 in a row. He hit 3 home runs in a row to win for the National League. And all of this comes from also the viewership that they were able to bring in that I think made a big difference. It was the most watched all-star event in sports. It continues to be with 7.2 million views. 7.2 million views on Tuesday night's All-Star game. Now, of course, they have the Home Run Derby the night before with Cal Raleigh taking home that prize. And I think this is great for the MLB because of how versatile it is that you have Cal Raleigh and the Mariners who are able to win, a catcher at that, able to win the Home Run Derby. Then you come in and you have Kyle Schwarber. You have, I guess you could say, the East Coast side of things and someone like the Phillies. And while Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani are the faces right now of the MLB, to have a guy like Kyle Schwarber be the MVP, simple as it is. That's what it was. The MVP, the silver bat, all that, being able to take home that prize. This is a really good spot for the MLB. And we haven't seen this. Well, not that we haven't seen this in the MLB, but over the last few years, is the MLB going to decline eventually? The NBA is kind of in this strange spot right now where they seem like they're in a decline. They can't get people to watch. They're struggling right now. But the MLB, this is a good position for them. I think to have an all-star game that is watched, that's very difficult to do in this day and age where you have social media, you have other things you could be doing. It's the middle of summer. Granted, it's one of the only sports that are on at this time. You got a little bit of soccer, but tennis matches wrapped up the day before and all of that. So it's a popular sport on a Tuesday when there's no other baseball games on. Clearly, basketball, there's a little bit of summer league here and there. But it's fun to watch because all your favorite players can come together. The family can have fun. But I think it's a good spot for baseball because you think about the Pro Bowl, it doesn't have any weight to it. Obviously, the best players are in the Super Bowl, so it makes it even more difficult. No one really cares about it. No one ever really has cared about it. But right now, football, NFL football at least, is at its peak. NBA All-Star has been interesting. I think a lot of people watch more for the events that happen along the week, the celeb game and things of that nature. That, to me at least, is more fun, more entertaining to watch others who don't do this on a daily basis play because no one really cares. I mean, this year LeBron, I think it was the day of the All-Star game, just said, oh, yeah, I'm actually hurt and I'm not going to play. There's just, there's not as much weight. I think Allen Iverson was the last guy to actually put in weight in an All-Star game to say, hey, let's go out there, let's win this, let's make something of ourselves. No one cares anymore. Now, obviously, it was back in almost 9 years ago that MLB took away the AL, NL, who gets home field advantage in the World Series if they win this, but they've still been able to sustain the value of the All-Star break. Now, again, like I was saying, part of that weight comes from you don't have other sports on. That's very helpful when soccer isn't that popular in the United States. And then you have a little WNBA here and there. Then you have a little NBA Summer League. But baseball's on a break. Baseball, America's pastime, is there. You're not in the middle of football season. You're not competing with the NBA. You're not competing with the NFL. This is a perfect time for them. Yes, that is granted. But at the same time, I think there is strength in numbers. And by that, I mean there is Aaron Judge, there is Shohei Ohtani. Sure. But look, when you're looking at this All-Star game, the faces are Cal Raleigh. The faces are now Kyle Schwarber. You're looking at other players. You're looking at other guys that make baseball fun. And it's cool because it's outside of Philadelphia. It's outside of Seattle. We're at a moment where 7.2 million people can go on there and can watch this and can say, this is maybe I don't watch baseball every day. Maybe I'm not able to see every single baseball team. And you hear a lot about Cal Raleigh. Maybe you're not able to catch a Mariners game every night. But now you're able to showcase them. You're able to see them. You're able to see other faces in baseball that then essentially what the MLB just posts on Instagram, because they do, I think, have a little bit of an obsession with posting Shohei Ohtani. But with that being said, which isn't a problem, he's the face of the league, but he's the only one who gets a birthday message on the MLB's Instagram. But anyway, moving on. It's just great for the league. Exactly what he was able to do. Logan Webb said him and his group chat says they love the swing off. I think it really got a great response from fans as well, that they were able to appreciate how quick it ended. It only needed kind of 3 go-arounds and then, let's end this game. Had a great time. Logan Webb says, I love this. The players loved it. And I think that's what makes it more important because now, obviously, you're 9 years out. You don't have that advantage that you used to have where the game used to mean something. But to have players come out and say, I like this. This swing off is fun. It's entertaining. That makes a huge difference. With that being said, there's flaws in everything. So I'll talk about a little bit of a flaw that I felt I saw in the All-Star game, which reminded me a little bit of Antonio Brown when he was in with the New York Jets and kind of just decided to leave. And this is to no fault of anybody. No one got in trouble. This was expected, apparently. I heard rumors that there were private jets ready to go. I don't know. Stuff like that interests me when you're a millionaire. Like, can't you just control travel? But I don't know. Apparently, whatever. The rumor is guys like Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani all left. They didn't hang around for this swing off. Once they were done with the game, they left. Now, granted, you have every right to leave. You do get a little bit of money for participating in the All-Star game. Obviously, you get tickets. I believe you get 6 tickets for family and friends. Then you probably have to buy the rest. It was just interesting to me to watch them leave because especially those two. I mean, you're the face of baseball. I know you do a lot. I know you're trying to get a little bit of a break too, but you're already there. At that point, don't you just hang around? Watch the end? Can't they sneak you in the back if you're worried about seeing fans and stuff? Can't they just, hey, all right, let's go out this way. Wait around in a lounge for an hour and a half before then the fans leave and you're all good. I don't know. It was just very interesting to me that the two stars of baseball, this whole World Series that just happened with the Dodgers and the Yankees and Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, and they left after their shift ended. Now, there's nothing wrong with leaving after your shift ends, but when you have a lot to do, your boss might ask you to hang around when it's not over, when there's a line at the door, right? And that's kind of my argument here with Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge is that we'll say there was a line out the door, right? There was players that are still competing in the game, your teammates, the people who you got drafted in the same draft class with possibly, those who maybe you even went to college with now at this point in high school. Like, it was just confusing to me that I know that like you're just leaving. You're leaving kind of your teammates who you play for on a daily basis. You're leaving the team that you agreed to be in an all-star with and be that face. It was just interesting to me. And now apparently they were told, oh, they have other things to do and all this, and I can understand that. But I just feel like if you saw somebody just randomly leaving the Pro Bowl, all right, time to pack it up. First half's done. Jalen Carter's leaving. Jalen Hurts is done. He's packing up and going. I feel like it would be a character thing, and how dare they do this? It's a little different because it was expected, apparently. I believe Aaron Boone talked about it and just said, yeah, we knew they were, like, whatever, wrap it up. But it was just interesting to me that they were like, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go do wherever. I'm gonna go hop on my private jet and call it quits. While everyone else was still playing, while the stadium was essentially full. When I don't know, did they go out in Atlanta? I don't know what you do. Maybe Shohei and Judge just wanted to hang out together. But I think that is, I don't want to say something to keep an eye on. It's an all-star game, but it's just an interesting thing that it's interesting how baseball is separate sometimes from other sports. Because I feel like if this happened in the NBA and LeBron just left, or if Patrick Mahomes just left, it would be kind of a strange deal. Even though the Pro Bowl and the NBA All-Star Game mean nothing, it would be a strange deal. Where I feel like baseball, everyone was like, well, they did their job. And that's it. So let's go. They talk to the media. They don't have a press conference after. Well, let's go. All right, I guess we're all rocking with it. It was just a little bit weird to me. Anyway, let's move on. We talked about the question of the week. I'll remind you, if you're just tuning in now, Saquon Barkley, fellow Eagles running back, helped them win a Super Bowl this year. He's the third ever player to lead the NFL in rushing yards and win a Super Bowl in the same season. Of course, Saquon Barkley, over 2,000 rushing yards this season. Who are the other two is the question of the week. I'll give you the hint for one. Might be obvious, might not be, but it's the NFL's leading rusher of all time. And that's Mr. Emmitt Smith himself, 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Dallas Cowboys. So we got question of the week. Saquon Barkley is the third ever player to lead the NFL in rushing and win a Super Bowl in the same season. Saquon Barkley is one. Emmitt Smith is two. Who is that third guy? Third guy to lead the NFL in rushing in the same year he won a Super Bowl. Stick around at the end of the show and I'll let you know. All right, we got a new segment that every once in a while I sneak in here. And I feel like it's only fitting this week. Because I'm not sure if any of you have been reading up on Le'Veon Bell's tweets. Le'Veon Bell, of course, former NFL running back for the Steelers for years. And let me tell you, they're interesting. I went down a deep rabbit hole of Le'Veon Bell tweets, and I only got through one day. I saw this tweet and it kind of alarmed me. I saw it on an NFL memes page. So at first I was like, this can't be a real tweet. I didn't know Le'Veon Bell tweeted like this, I'll admit. Well, he does. And it is a real tweet. I looked it up. Last Friday when we had our show, we had Kyle Anderson Sr. on. We're just chilling, talking about our show. Le'Veon Bell is out here tweeting, every time a bird poops on my car, I eat a plate of wings on the front porch to show them what I'm capable of. What? This guy used to be the face of the NFL at one point with the Steelers. And now he's trying to get back at chickens. To each his own. Anyway, artist or athlete is what this segment is called. We just finished up What's the Scoop with Kyle Schwarber and everything. Talked about that question of the week. Now let's get to artist or athlete. So I'm going to ask you all tell you all three verses they could be, 3 statements, 3 tweets. You'll decide. But I'm going to give you an artist. We're going to pick Le'Veon Bell. Just read the tweets after this. And then we're going to pick Lil Wayne. And I'm picking Lil Wayne because he just came out with Carter 5 about a month and a half ago. A lot of people didn't like the album. I have trouble. I think people just didn't get what they were expecting. I thought it was a decent album. Not his best, obviously. But it was a good album. So moving on. I'm going to give you 3. And I'm going to ask you. Is it Le'Veon Bell? Former Steeler. Had a decent career there. Or is it Lil Wayne? New Orleans native. Best rapper alive. You decide. All right, number 1. Coming in at number 1. Is it an artist or is it an athlete? Is it Bell or is it Wayne? You can't expect to hang with the chickens and fly like an eagle. Get out of the coop. Can't expect to hang with the chickens and fly like an eagle. Get out of the coop. You got your guesses in. Is it Le'Veon Bell or Lil Wayne? 3, 2, 1. It's Le'Veon Bell. Again, look at these tweets, y'all. Look at the tweets. And tell me what you think, because they're funny. If you ever need to get a good laugh in, or if you're ever feeling sad, look at Le'Veon Bell's tweets. All right, coming in at number 2. It could be AI, but still ain't him. AI. I'm not going to even give you all a lot of time. It's Lil Wayne, and to me this is, if you listen to Lil Wayne, you know that he's a lyrical genius. Every time I listen to one of his songs, I forget how great he is, and I say, oh my goodness, that's what he's trying to say. I can go on with this all day, like I could just go on with it all day. But I love this because, it's AI, AI, ChatGPT, but it could be AI, Allen Iverson, but it's still not him. Well, that was Lil Wayne and his new song, Being Myself, on his latest album. It could be AI, but still ain't him. Being Myself, Lil Wayne. Now coming in at number 3. Is it Le'Veon Bell? Or is it Lil Wayne? Therapist talking about cutting people off isn't healthy. She's about to be next. Lil Wayne could have said this in a song. Le'Veon Bell could have said this in a tweet. Therapist talking about cutting people off isn't healthy. She's about to be next. Got your answer? It's Le'Veon Bell in a tweet. In fact, he actually talks about his therapist a lot in his tweets. He might have multiple. Who knows? Maybe we'll find out on X in the next few days. But he talks about it a lot. And apparently he's thought about cutting her off. So that's just a fun little segment of artist and athlete. Definitely, hopefully can get somebody on the show within the next few weeks to do this segment, because I think it makes it even funnier just to hear that. But artist or athlete? First one was Le'Veon Bell. You can't expect to hang with the chickens and fly like an eagle and get out of the coop. Second was Lil Wayne. It could be AI, but it still ain't him. Third, therapist talking about cutting people off isn't healthy. She's about to be next. Le'Veon Bell, former Steelers running back, just sharing all of his thoughts on X. Highly suggest it if you're bored, truthfully. If you're bored and you have time, you can scroll through a lot of tweets. Now let's talk about being bored. Most times when people are bored, you go on social media and you say funny stuff. So that's what we're talking about, social scoreboard. Now Bradley Beal signs a 2-year, $11 million deal with the Clippers on Wednesday. And he gets a buyout from the Suns. Now, of course, all of this comes out after Kevin Durant goes to Houston and decides he's going to try to win a chip there. We could talk about it, whatever. But yeah, he's finalizing his buyout with the Suns, signing with the Clippers, and he is willing to give back $13.9 million of the $110 million he owes the Suns. How bad does it have to be for you to say, I'll give you back $13.9 million? Like, how bad does it have to get to say I gotta let go? To say I can't do this anymore? I don't know. But it allows, the Suns to be more flexible on their roster. He signs this deal with the Clippers for $11 million in 2 years. He has a player option for the second year. Yeah, $13 million. Whatever. That's none of my business. He's richer than I'll ever be, so I'll just be quiet. But I just found it a little interesting. It was an interesting trade. It seems like every excuse James Harden has tried to come up with isn't going to work anymore. I don't have help. I don't have this. You got some old heads, but you have help. Let's talk about it. Social Scoreboard. If you're unfamiliar with this segment, I take the best 3 top social media comments about this exact situation. I pick a different situation every week, obviously. This week it's about Bradley Beal signing that 2-year, $11 million deal with the Clippers, getting that $13 million buyout, willing to give back his money to the Suns so that he doesn't have to play for them, so he can go off to LA from Phoenix, still kind of on the West Coast, still on the West Coast now. Let's talk about it. Coming in at number 3, Bowl World, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Unction. Yeah, it was a picture of a bunch of old uncles having a good time, we'll say. You got James Harden. You got Kawhi Leonard. You got Bradley Beal. Kawhi, you're a champion. He's a champ. Harden. Well, he's James Harden. He is James Harden. They're a great player. Great leader? Not so sure. But you got Kawhi. And then you have Bradley Beal. Old players. We're not going to sugarcoat this. This isn't a young team. It was different. It was different when they had Paul George and it was Kawhi, and this is different. But Lakers fans might think they still have a shot. But Adrian Morris on X doesn't think so at all. Adrian Morris on X says, so many stars have ended up on the Clippers. And for what? They aren't winning anything. Adrian has a point. Because let's be real, the Clippers have always been little brother to the Lakers. They always will be. That's just the truth, right? The Lakers, almost everyone's little brother to them in this league. That's just the facts of life, right? Especially now that you have LeBron. It's like, yeah, what better fitting way for LeBron to head to the Lakers when he did so many years ago, crushing Sixers fans' hopes and so many other fans, Cavs fans, etc. It's like it's only fitting to have Kobe and Shaq and, oh yeah, now LeBron. The Clippers, Kawhi, Bradley, Harden. Doesn't have as nice of a ring to it. Now you got Luka on the Lakers. You got LeBron. It's not as nice, let's be honest. Can they win? I mean, they're all talented players. Can they work well together? I don't know. I've seen a pretty bad big three before. Just saying, as a Nets fan, it just hurts my heart. Anyway, let's move on. We don't need to talk about the Nets anymore. I'm over it. All right, Playoff Jake says the Clippers are going to lose in the first round and get so confused. But hey, they're making it to the playoffs. Is that a bad thing? If they make it to the playoffs? Well, what's their goal here? I think that's the real problem with professional sports right now, because sometimes I don't think the goal is to win. It's like, well, how do we just keep our jobs? How do we push the limits where we do well enough, and this is probably more front office, not all the time, but sometimes, where we do well enough, but we're not going to win. And granted, it's the truth. Only one team wins. So to say, be crowned a champion, it's very difficult. So I can understand that sort of thinking, so to speak. At the same time, you're not signing him to a lot. I mean, this deal is really not a lot for the NBA. For Bradley Beal, this is a horrific deal in terms of the money he's giving up 13.1. $9 million, only getting $11 million. He has the player option. It's an interesting deal, I'll say. Maybe not horrific. It's interesting. With that being said, I think this is a strange deal for fans because for the last few years it was the Clippers. I mean, the LA Clippers have one of the most futuristic, so to speak, arenas. They're keeping up in terms of that, but do people want to go to that arena if you don't win? And they believe right now they can win with Bradley Beal. They believe they can win with Kawhi. I'm assuming at least they believe they can win with Harden. That's great. That's awesome. Maybe they can, maybe they won't. I'm not quite sure. I'm glad that's not my job. At the same time, hopefully Bradley Beal will be happy because to me, the simple thing is he's not happy. He wasn't happy in Phoenix or he didn't want to play without KD. I don't know. But that's just what I would see if you're willing to give up that and say, yep, I'm buying it out and see you wouldn't want to be at, and I'm going to take less money somewhere else. But at the same time, Bradley Beal knows he's at the end of his career. He knows he's older. So is he going to be confused if he loses in the first round? I'm not sure. I think the first step, before they even get to the first round of the playoffs, is, can this team stay healthy? Is James Harden in the shape that James Harden's supposed to be in? Is James Harden trying to, once again, win a quick ring? Get on out of there? And now Bradley Beal on the Clippers? And then the same thing with Kawhi. Is he healthy? Is he there? Right now, these are just answers that you're hoping. You're hoping they're healthy for the entire year, but you're just not sure. But one of my favorite things to say in sports, we'll have to wait and see. So we'll come back, we'll talk about it, and we'll wait and see for now. All right, we got our next segment. That was just social scoreboards. We got our next segment of Throwback Thrill. Let's get right into it. So Throwback Thrill is exactly what happened on this day, right? So Friday, July 18th, or July 18th, I'll say, because obviously not every July 18th is a Friday. July 18th, gonna pick 3 different dates, 3 different years that iconic sports memories happen. Most of this, actually all of this is baseball this year, this week rather, because like I was saying with the All-Star game, there's just not a whole lot going on. What is going on is Von Miller is signing with the Commanders. I'll mention that too. So Eagles fans, Von Miller will be with Jaden Smith. Anyway, let's quickly, or Jalen Hurts rather, not Jaden Smith. Jalen Hurts rather will be on, watch out for Von Miller. Anyway, with that being said, let's get Throwback Thrill started. 1912, the Chicago Cubs get 21 hits, but they lose to the Philadelphia Phillies in 11 innings. 1927, Ty Cobb's 4,000th MLB career hit. And then 1999, bringing it a little closer to home, the New York Yankees' David Cone becomes the 15th pitcher to throw a perfect game. 6-0 against Montreal. Obviously not a team anymore, now the Washington Nationals. But the 1912 one, the Chicago Cubs getting 21 hits but lose to the Phillies in 11 innings. Yikes. What a game. That's got to be a tough game if you're a Cubs fan. But great game if you're a Phillies fan. Anyway, let's talk about it as we wrap up the show. We got the question of the week. Saquon Barkley is the 3rd ever player to lead the NFL in rushing and win a Super Bowl in the same season. Who are the other 2? We had Emmitt Smith as one of them. Saquon Barkley, Emmitt Smith, won a Super Bowl, led the NFL in rushing yards. Coming in at number 3, Terrell Davis is the other. Obviously, Broncos running back, drafted 6th round pick, won 2 Super Bowls, rushed for 2,476 yards, beating his previous record. Was able to do that, was able to win a Super Bowl with Denver. Terrell Davis. So you got Emmitt Smith, Terrell Davis, and Saquon Barkley all leading the NFL in rushing yards and then helping their team win a Super Bowl as well in the same year. Will Saquon Barkley do that again? Well, you know what I like to say. We'll have to wait and see. With all that being said, I am your host, Patricia Caputo. This is the Beachside Blitz. Thanks for hanging with me. I will see you all next week on the Beachside Blitz, where once again, we'll surf the wave of sports. Y'all have a good week.